Right, thanks for joining me here again at Shed Creations in a very untidy workshop. I'll get round to that at some point, I'm sure. Anyway, today I'm just making a simple sort of project. It's a record stand, or record player stand should I say, for my house. I have a record player indoors that I inherited from an uncle, and it's always sat, even when he had it, always sat on an old TV base. One of the old ones with a plastic bottom part where the video player would have gone, and then the telly sat on top. So it was a very, very old thing. I need to move that on because it doesn't suit where I've got the record player, and I want to make a nice stand for it. It deserves it, you know. So I made a rough one just for sort of sizing purposes out of pine, and I quite like the way it looked. So I'm just gonna, as you can see behind me, I've got another piece of pine over here. I'm just gonna rip that down into a few different pieces and get cracking on. I've got a couple that have been glued up into a panel, all sitting there nice, ready to go. Again, just all need cutting down. Right, so I've got the main bulk of it all cut out, and all I'm gonna do now is like some pocket holes in here. I'm going to use pocket holes. You could use dowels and glue them all together. That was something I'm contemplating on. I just don't have any dowels in stock at the moment, so I'm going to use pocket holes. Still hold together absolutely perfectly fine for what I'm doing with it, so I've got no issue with it at all. Yeah, just crack on and get it done. So because of the way I'm going to do it, the pocket holes will be in the side parts here, so everything's going to sit on top, just because it's going to support the weight of the radio so much better. Should I say the stereo, so much better. It's old school, it's a stereo. So everything will go on top. Pocket holes from underneath here. I'm going to leave a little gap in here. I've done it with the test one that I made, and I wasn't sure I was going to like it. I done it just because I wanted to test out the size of things. It wasn't really necessarily the style, it was just the size of it. And the other half, she actually quite liked the way it looked. So I'm just going to do that for this one as well. So it will have only a small gap in between the top and on the bottom as well, just spacing them out. It don't actually look too bad. The legs, I'm going to use the ones, again, it was something that I tried. I took a piece of 2x2 pine that I've got here, and I basically just cut an angle on two sides, and it just makes the leg look a little bit nicer, narrows it down a bit, so it ends up making the bottom, from memory, 1 inch square. So that's one way to measure it out. I'll do another one just to show you, because like I said, I've already done these ones, so, and I'm happy with them. Again, the other half's happy with them. Pretty much what matters, isn't it? But I'll show you in a little while how I done them. I'll make another one just as a trial, just to show you. We'll take it from there. So let's just get the pocket holes done on these first, so I can actually get the carcass together, because I am going to put a stain on it as well. Yeah, let's go from there. So I just want to mark it out where I actually want the pocket holes first, make it a bit easier for myself. Right, so I've got a rough idea on where I want the pocket holes to be. First one has actually worked out about 1 inch apart, and then they're about 2 inches apart after that. It's going to be 6 on either end, just because there is a gap in between, and obviously I want to hold each piece of wood as tightly as I can. Now I need to put something in between here, because it does leave a dent. With the pocket hole jig that I've got, it actually leaves a dent on the pine, because don't forget, pines are very soft wood. So I just need to put something in between. This is still too thick though. one side done. I'm sure you know how to do a pocket hole by now. I'm sure you've watched enough videos like me. I'm going to skip forward onto the next step. I'll catch you up then. Right, I will admit, I was a wally and I put the camera back on and I pushed what I thought was record. It weren't. I was just taking lovely pictures of myself. Anyway, you're back with me now. You can see where I've got to. So I've got all the pocket holes done and I've set up like this now. So I've obviously put one panel on there already. I've started doing this bottom panel at the back. And that's when I realised that you guys weren't following me. So I stopped, got myself sorted, and now here we go. So all I've got to do is put a couple of screws in the back of this one, and then I'll start with the top. Obviously I'll flip it over and we'll do that one. Once I've got this together like this, I'll show you how I done the legs. It was with the bandsaw. You could probably do it on a table saw. I would imagine you probably could. Bandsaw is probably the best way to go, or scroll saw if you got it something like that. It's about there. Let's get this bit together. Now I've got my impact set on a low setting, so even though it sounds like it's getting a good beating, it's not. It really isn't. And because it's pine, I don't want to put it on a high setting, just because I don't want to risk any blowout or anything like that, or me pushing the screws through too much, which I may have done a couple of times in the past. That's why I know these things. That's that part done. So, flip it over and we'll get these other pieces on. Now I've spent a couple of minutes just going through it, having a look at all the sides to then work out what I want to be the top and what I want to be the bottom. Also the inside of the top and the inside of the bottom. Right, let's carry on. Now the other thing with most woods, but I find with pine especially, just be careful where the knots are when you're doing your pocket holes. Even where you're screwing the pocket holes into, be aware that whether there's any knots around there, because if you do screw it into one, you're liable to just blow it straight out and then you've got to start that piece all over again. We don't want to be doing that. Right, so that's a rough look at it. The pocket holes in here I'm not worried about because the records are going to be in here, and I'm going to look to potentially put a shelf on this side, like maybe split this and put some shelves on that side so I can put my CDs and stuff on there as well. But primarily it will be records in here, so I'm not worried about anyone seeing that. It's for inside my own house. If I make another one, if this one, anything happens to this one for whatever reason, then I'll look to redo it in a different way. But for now, we're good to go. So I'll show you how I've done the legs. So, like I said, the bottom of them is basically going to be an inch, and that's where you're going to be aiming your blade at. So that's what you'll be left with down in the corner, because you will look at one of these edges as being the outside edge of the leg. So that's where you're working to. I can't remember how much of a gap I left up top. 2 1/4 inches. So where's that going to be? That's kind of here. So from this side, 2 1/4, and this side 2 1/4. So basically that's where I'm looking at. So the light sides that I've put the lines on, that's where I'm going to be cutting from down to, or you could always mark it out that you cut from there up to there. So the way you do that is essentially, I'm just eyeballing this, you could do a bit more precise. Mark there and there, and then as you know that's going to be your end point, so actually from this side, and then just draw a line between the 2 points. So it'd end up like that. Let me move you around so you can see what I'm doing on the bandsaw. Ignore that. So, like I say, all we're going to look to do is go from there up. Now what you might have noticed, I just realised, is that when you cut this side off, you're going to lose your marking from here. So you will just have to remark that part out. It's not the end of the world. That's one side trimmed down. So let me just mark that out again. Right, let's go again. Now I know you can do stuff like that on a table saw if you've got a tapering jig and stuff. I've not made one of those as of yet. I don't do enough legs like this to sort of really warrant it. As you guys know now, I've got a small workshop, so I don't really have to space for on a limited amount of jigs. If I get rid of some of this wood, I might do. This is lime. If you have any good ideas for me to do something with that lime with, here we go, it's a big chunk of lime. Live edge as well. So that's what it ends up looking like. Pretty simple, really. So now I also have a spare leg. And all I've done to attach those to this unit was, again, just pocket holes. Straightforward enough. I need to pretty them up a little bit. So now this is all done, I'm going to use the legs off the one that I had tested. Let me move it back around. Right, so I'm going to use the legs from the unit I previously made and whack them on. They fitted absolutely fine before, so there's no reason why they shouldn't again now. Let's crack on and get them on, and I'll show you what it's like. And again, it is all just pocket holes and a pocket hole screw, so very, very simple. Just to make it look a bit stylish, a bit more stylish, is I'm actually going to space them in from the edge. I think that'll do the job. Make sure your screw's going the right, your drill's going the right way. Always helps. Right, so that is the semi-finished article. The only thing I've got to do more so is stain it. So that's what it looks like on top. May look a bit odd to some people, but once it's actually in place, stained with the record player on top, it actually will look very smart. Don't forget obviously the records will be in here. And I am thinking of splitting this up, adding some shelves in here as well, just to add a bit more storage to it, like CD storage, because I don't have many vinyls anymore, and I'm not planning on buying a heap load more either. So half of this would be more than enough for the vinyls that I've got, but that's for another day. That'll be version 2 maybe, but for now this will do the job. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to bore you guys with any more sanding, because you guys have seen sanding so much. You know, you don't need to see me sanding anymore, but I am going to give it a sand over, knock down a few more of the rough spots, and then get some stain on it, and then I'll show you a finished article when it's all said and done. So bear with me and let me knock that out. I'll catch you back up then. See you in a minute. Right, okay, all said and done. That's what it looks like. I've given it a coat in a varnish. It's a light oak finish that I've put on it. I could have left it just plain pine and sealed it, but I actually quite like the way it is. Just a little bit of colour. Rather than doing that noise. And that's the top of it. So it's a very simple unit. Like I say, the pocket holes inside. Pocket holes inside I'm really not bothered with, because they're going to be covered up by records, and then one side's going to end up having a CD storage on it as well for me to CD still. So that's all for now. I don't think I'm going to give it a second coat. I quite like how light it is at the moment. If the other half don't like it, then maybe I'll give it a second coat, or it may end up being painted. However it ends up being finished, what I'll do is at the end of the video I'll put up a couple of pictures as well to show you what it actually looks like in place as well, with the stereo on top of it, and that's it. So happy days, it's all finished. Right, so that's that one done. Happy days. I can move on to the next thing now. If there's anything, like I could say in all my videos, if there's anything that you like and you want one for yourself, just give me a shout. You can go onto the website. I'll put a link for the website in the description. So the website, Facebook and Insta. You can go on any one of those, contact me through there. Even just leave me a comment on here and I'll have a look. And that goes with anything on my videos, or like I say, if there's anything that you guys have in your head that you think that would be quite cool, just give me a message. I'll have a look at it, see what we can do, see if I can work something out. But for now, that's it. Again, see you next time.